Good afternoon, everyone. This is auth-scroteau-auth, reporter from MassLive, outside the Massachusetts State Police Barracks in Framingham, the headquarters, where Colonel Kerry Gilpin, the head of the state police, just announced that there will be hearings for 19 troopers, a total of 19, who work Troop E. Troop E is the barracks that handles enforcement on the Massachusetts Turnpike. These troopers are all accused of putting in, saying they were working shifts for specialized enforcement on the Massachusetts Turnpike and not showing up for their shifts. Obviously, there was payment being made to these troopers for these specialized shifts. The number of, the amount of money has not been specified at this time. The audit was announced last year, and the end result was just announced today by the colonel, along with the Secretary of Public Safety, Dan Bennett, who was here today. So what we're being told now is there are 19 troopers from Troop E. That's the troop that handles the tunnels and the Massachusetts Massachusetts Turnpike. They will have what they call a duty status hearing. That will determine whether or not they'll be suspended without pay, on administrative leave, whatever it may be. After that, they can decide what their employment status will be. On top of this, the information on this case has all been sent to AG Maura Healey, the Attorney General, in case there's any kind of criminal prosecution. Now, there had been a lot of speculation up to the weeks before this announcement today. There had been speculation. I was hearing speculation on massive indictments. I was hearing speculation on troopers just packing up and going home. We have not heard that yet. I heard people had just mass amounts of resignations or indictments. But Colonel Gilpin made it clear that this will go to the AG's office, and the AG's office will be able to control whether or not any kind of indictments come down. We weren't able to learn how much money has been paid out to these troopers. That's something that they couldn't answer today. Hopefully we can answer soon, because the dollar amount's really important to find out here. But what we know is 19 troopers assigned to Troop E, which handles Massachusetts Turnpike and the tunnels, will go to have hearings very soon and determine what their employment status will be, as in not whether or not they're fired, but whether or not they remain on duty while further investigation continues. Now, there would have been another trooper, two more troopers involved. One had resigned last year, and another trooper cannot take part of a hearing at this time because he's already out. He's already out for another investigation, so he is not on active duty right now because of another investigation involving him. So had those two troopers not been in the situation they're in, or that one trooper resigned, there would have been a total of 21 hearings. At this point in time, again, the state police said, Colonel Gilpin in a report, she said, at the conclusion of the investigation, the department may take further action regarding the duty status of these personnel, in addition to any action taken by the Attorney General. She also noted that as soon as the violations, these are called ERE Reports, the ERE patrols, Accident and Injury Reduction Effort Patrols, happen to be the same patrol that Trooper Tom Clardy was working when he unfortunately was hit by another vehicle in Charlotte and killed. These patrols, once it came to light that some of these troopers were not showing up for these patrols, it ended. Colonel Gilpin ended it. This is an investigation that began actually with her predecessor, Colonel Richard McEwen, which we all know is no longer at the state police over the Ali Bebo scandal, the judge's daughter who had her police report redacted. So Colonel McEwen actually started this investigation. When Colonel Gilpin took over, she continued it immediately. Once the discrepancies in the payroll and the shifts were discovered, the ERE patrols were canceled. That happened in the fall. So recapping what we know right now, auth-scroteau-auth here outside the Framingham Barracks, the headquarters for the Massachusetts State Police, where Colonel Gilpin just announced that there will be 19 hearings for troopers who worked Turnpike enforcement, worked these specialized patrols, which are no longer in existence now because of this. There were no-shows at some of their shifts. We were told that there was instances where one shift was skipped. We were told there's instances where 100 shifts were skipped. We weren't told that was specifically done by one trooper, but one would assume that that's what she was referring to. They didn't take a lot of questions here afterwards. And again, the Colonel Gilpin wasn't able to give us a dollar amount on how much money was actually paid out to these troopers for no-show shifts. Essentially, that's what it was. We'll keep you updated. For the next step now, you're looking at a bunch of hearings for these troopers to decide what their, it's called a duty status hearing. So it's not a hearing that talks about, it's not talking about whether or not they'll be fired or terminated right now. It's just whether or not they'll be put on administrative leave or restricted duty or something like that. After that, that's when the decision will be made on whether or not what's their next employment history. Of course, on top of that, this is all going to the AG's office to see if there's any criminal charges. This is Scott Croteau from MassLive. Thank you for tuning in.